right, we're very excited to have Carey Blaskin on with us today. Carey, tell us a little bit about where you came from, where you've grown up, and how basketball got started in your life.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on. Played in Calgary, born and raised in Calgary, and just played high school. Just played junior high and high school. Ended there. Coached a little bit when I got out of high school, but didn't really get too involved. And then basically when the life of Carey and basketball started, when I had an 8-year-old daughter, we were driving up from school and looked at the sign saying Cal West basketball registration. And she was dancing at the time. And I just looked at her and I said, "Did you want to play basketball?" And she's like, "Is it fun?" I said, "Yeah, I played." And she said, "Yeah." And that was 12 years ago. And I just jumped right in and now have world domination in my little world.
So is that you started CBA right away, or what happened? Tell us what happened after that.
You know what? I went to another club. I went to a club. So she was in grade 5 now. So she went and played in grade 4. And in grade 5, I joined a club. And as when you're new to something, like I have my own business. And so I'm usually, the alpha male in the room and telling people what to do. But for this particular case, because I was new to the basketball community and club basketball, I just sat and watched and I listened. I coached my little grade 5 team with my girls. And so year 1, sat and watched, listened. Year 2, started to have opinions, and not negative opinions, just things that I thought we could improve upon the club that I was in. For example, this particular club would train girls and guys together, ages from grade 6 to grade 9. And I remember dragging my daughter to their trainings and she didn't want to go. A young, impressionable grade 5, grade 6 girl doesn't want to go train with a grade 9 boy. It's an intimidation factor. So some of the suggestions I had given was, the girls should train with the girls, keep them within a year age group or maximum 2-year age group. And if you're ever in an environment where there's a new girl, you guys got to build each other up and get to know them. And so that was just one of the ideas. And it was just, I was told, "Hey, coach, you coach your grade 5 girls team. Leave the hard stuff to us." And I went, "Hey, not a problem." And so I respectfully finished off the year, and I just felt that I had some good stuff to offer. They felt that they had things under control. And so I started my own. And 10 years later, we're on year 10. We have 30 teams. And yeah, we're killing it. So that's kind of
fantastic. I mean, so we're talking, obviously, for those of you who are listening, we're talking about CBA. They're the biggest club in Calgary. Very successful. They beat us 4 times last year by roughly a point and a half in a day and a half period. And it was not fun for me. I didn't enjoy the experience, to be honest with you. But anyway, back to this team. So you start your own club. Tell us, we're doing an origin story here. So how did it start? Who were you like, okay, hey, Phil, you're coming with me. Steve, you're coming with me. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah. So I grabbed my grade 5 girls and their parents, and I said, okay, let's start our own club. And we're going to have 1 team, maybe 2. And then I thought to myself, I want to do this right. And I need someone that's been there for a while and has been doing this for a few years. So I grabbed a gentleman by the name of Jay Villanueva, who now actually lives, and he's a referee out there. So he refs some of your games now, but he was on the boys' side, and he had an older daughter who was in grade 9 at the time. And I said to him, he was with the same club, and I just said, "Hey, this is some opportunities that we can do here." And we like to align ourselves with people that, well, to be honest, that don't rely on their sole income to be basketball. And so that's what I was looking for. So I grabbed him. He brought some experience and some people with him. And then that took a couple of years. I joined every possible association I could join, Alberta basketball. We signed up. We made sure that all of our coaches were certified. And we really made a big splash in the first year or 2. And Shawnee Harley is the Olympic coach, the assistant coach for the Olympics, with a coach at the University of Calgary for 16 years. We got her in. We were one of the only clubs ever to bring her in as a guest coach in our first year. So we're trying to build, and we're trying to get a name for ourselves. And she told me, she goes, first of all, you're the only club that's ever asked me to come and join for a session. So thank you. And the second thing she said is, kids will come and go. You need to put time and effort into your coaches. You need to make sure your coaches are trained properly and that they have good relationships with everybody. And that stuck with me on year one. Year two, we started bringing in university coaches across Calgary and college coaches. And then in year three, it was all across Alberta. So, and our focus has been on coaches. So that's kind of how we built it, is we have been, for the last 10 years, bragging about our coaching staff and putting all of our time and effort, because Shawnee was right. Kids will come and go. But coaches are what will make and break a program.
Well, and what coaches do is they take care of the kids that do show up. So if a kid shows up and you got the right people coaching there, you're going to maximize on the potential, which is huge. And we've noticed that with your program. You got fantastic coaches up and down the lineup, for sure, 100%. So you went to 2 teams. How do we get to 30? What happens that gets us to 30? There has to be a mindset change. What goes on?
Year 3, year 2, we blow up. Jordan's in grade 7. Yeah, year 2, we blow up. I got 7 U13 girls teams. So we take everybody in. 110 girls were at tryouts just for U13.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So we then.
You're popular with the parents, you're saying.
Yeah. So now we're going into grade 6. Now we've got grade 6, 7 girls, 110 girls at tryouts. So right away we decide, okay, wait a minute. The U13 model doesn't work. We're going to have to go U13 and U12. We're going to have to split them up, grade 6s and grade 7s. But the biggest problem with year 2 was we were very excited. We're like, wow, this is massive. Right age to grow up, or right age to blow up at. We probably had 50 or 60 U15s. So we only had 2 teams that year. But year 2, and then the trouble started. First and foremost, we went from what we thought was going to be an elite club, or that was what our goals were, to a community club. Because right, wrong, or indifferent, there is not 110 elite U13 girls in Calgary, okay? And teams 1 and 2, fantastic, good parents. We had our best coaches coaching that age category. But once we got to teams 4, 5, 6, and 7, I don't know how else to say this, but just the parents were very, very helicopter parents. They were very involved. They all had a lot of opinions. I had newer coaches, and they didn't want to deal with these parents. So year 2 was a bit of a mess. Refunded some people their money back. Again, one of the powerful things of having a non-for-profit is you can kind of dictate a little bit. They're not customers, okay? They're partners. Our families are partners. Customers are people that you have to make satisfied, even if they're unreasonable. Not here. Like, let's work together, but if at the end of the day, if it's not a good fit, we're gonna tell you that it's not a good fit. So after year 2, we went, okay, new rules. We're gonna create age categories. So we're gonna go 2 teams in every age category. So 2 grade 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And if we cannot field a second team that's going to be competitive, we just won't field it. So in year 3, we probably had, on the girls' side, we probably had 10 teams. And there was a couple of open gaps where we didn't have a B team, which is okay. And the boys were slowly growing. Boys had about 5 or 6 teams. So now we're at 16 teams in year 3. But we like the model we're working with. We like the model. It's got to be a top team and a B team. And why that model was good is because you always had a chance to be on that top team. And the top players always knew that the B team was always, biting at their heels, trying to go at them, right? So that model really worked well. And one of the things we're proud of is after 10 years, we have never had the same team twice in any category, any age, any gender. There's always a switch. I had a very strong grade 7 team last year, very strong grade 7 team. We were honored to go to the B-Ball National Championship, and we snuck out a victory and won the B-Ball National Championship with my 7s. You knew I'd have to say something. And
you had a very nice team. I agree. That was a very nice team.
Yeah, and we've changed it. We've added a couple of players, and it's for the benefit of everybody, including the girls that we put on the B team. And I think that's the other great thing that we've got is the families trust that we're going to put them where the kids are best suited. And very rarely do we lose a kid that goes to the B team. They understand. They're not happy, but they understand. So that type of model, it's a slow growth. So 15 teams year 3, then 18 teams year 4, then 20 teams. We've dropped a couple of teams. We're not going to put a team on the court just to put a team on the court. Last year, we only had one U15 team. We didn't have a second one, right? So just a slow, gradual, but we will not go over. We will not go over 2 teams in each age category. We don't want to repeat what we did in year 2, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So let's go to your personal coaching philosophy. So where did you get your coaching philosophy from? What got you going, and kind of like what are some of your goals with your teams when you guys are coaching?
So there's 2 philosophies. Okay, there's an actual X's and O's, and then there's a philosophy of how you treat players. I am not old school. This is not Coach Carter. We do not support that style. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just something we don't support on the girls' side. The girls need to feel welcome. They need to feel like they're part of something, and you need to deal with them and know that they can be emotional. I have 3 daughters, so I understand that. So my personal philosophy outside of basketball, but part of a basketball team, is that this is the commitment I make to our girls. You are going to come into that gym laughing, smiling, and having fun. And you're going to leave this gym laughing, smiling, and having fun. But what I'm going to do in those 90 minutes is we're going to work really, really hard. And I am a little old school when it comes to the definition I like to use is called snowflakes. Okay. There's no snowflakes in our club. We weed them out very quickly. Okay. We will never be disrespectful. We will never be disparaging. We will always be supportive, but we are going to hold you accountable, and we're going to make you work hard. You're going to make eye contact when you're talking to us, and you're going to respect everybody there. And if you're not, you can be in grade 5, and I will call you out. And then I will sit down with your parents and say the same thing. Say, this is unacceptable. This behavior in these 90 minutes is unacceptable. So that is my philosophy as a coach, because I also feel that I'm a bit of a mentor to them, right? Coaching girls for this long. As far as X's and O's now, I'm a positionless coach. We like to run the Canada style of play, but we also understand that it depends on the clientele that you have. We don't care about grade 7, grade 8, grade 9 basketball in the sense of winning. And I know that's hard to believe, and I'm not being arrogant. We win a lot, but that's just a result of the hard work. Okay. We personally do not care we personally don't care how many games we win in junior high. We tell all of our junior high kids is your job is to make a difference on your high school team. And we tell our high school kids, if you want to play post-secondary, your job is to make a difference on your high school team and get ready for post-secondary, right? So that's kind of the philosophy that I have when it comes to the X's and O's. Is you're not going to see a lot of systems in our program. You're not going to see me doing a lot of like banana swirl and calling plays, and we're running Kentucky and UCLA, and it's a little bit of a joke because when you listen to me coach, I'll start yelling things, and some of the girls will look at me and go, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I'm just throwing off the other coach," because we don't have plays. We'll have a couple of little sets, but it's just go play, man. It's junior high. Go play, get better.
Absolutely. So you get going, you get the club real big. I've noticed you guys take a lot of pride in what you're wearing, the gear. I think you take a lot of pride in the quality of your coaching, which we talked about. You're one of the few people in Alberta that's actually doing a lot of traveling to get your kids some opportunities to play some different things. What's it like putting the schedule and the product together?
So the clothing thing came in year 2. Year 1, we bought bags. We bought orange OGO bags. 10 years ago, Nike didn't have their Nike Elite bags. They had some duffel bags, and we purposely went with orange. That was our colors. We kind of mimicked ourselves. Our first logos were from the Phoenix Suns. We just, instead of the PHX, it was CBA with the flame and the Phoenix. And so I don't think there's any intention to it. Like, there's a bit of a marketing thing. But it really dawned on us very quickly in year 2 how important the bags were to everybody. Everybody wanted a bag. And we're like, oh, okay. So bags are a big deal. And that was the true test of specifically girls. They want to be united and be part of something. So I figured, okay, well, the bags seem to be important to them. So let's put some money into gear. Now, for the longest time, we just went with, cost efficient brands. Okay. Just no name brands and just put our logo on it. But as the club has developed, we teamed up with Team Nike here in Alberta. And now we're all Nike. Our uniforms have always been Nike. But our clothing packages have only started to be Nike the last couple of years. And there's a sense of pride. That's the reality. And I know that some clubs and some coaches go, it doesn't matter what your gear you have. You're right. It doesn't matter. If you don't sacrifice coaches, don't sacrifice quality of play for gear. But we don't. So we have the best of both worlds. They have nice gear and we have great coaching and great quality of play. So, and then the second part of that, question about the travel is we use the travel like there's no need for a grade 7 team to travel. Okay, so we should get that right out of the way because my grade 7 girls can go play grade 8 girls, grade 9 girls, grade 10 girls if we want. Currently right now in Alberta's allowing teams to play each other in a 50-person cohort, and I've got a grade 8 team and they're going to play with a bunch of high school teams. Okay, and we don't care if we win or not. So I don't need to travel to get competition.
You guys are allowed live games, like full live games?
Yeah, live games are starting. But we travel for different reasons. We travel because we want the experience and the bonding. Because school nowadays in Alberta, travel is very limited. See, back in the day when I was playing in high school, I went to Vegas, I went to Texas, I went to California, I went to Hawaii. Okay, but I did not. But nowadays, it's very hard to travel with the lawyers and all the rules and the costs. So we take these kids out because they may not be able to go see Las Vegas and play against Americans. And being in Calgary, our closest place is Spokane. So we'll take grade 6 and 7 teams down to Spokane, but mostly to get their egos in check, to be honest. And I don't know if it's the egos of the players or the parents, because we got a strong grade 6 team, a strong grade 7 team or whatever. And we go down to the States and the parents are like, my kid's the best. And we're like, sure. Yeah. And we're so good in Calgary. Sure. And then we go down there and you lose by 40 to girls that are shorter than you, and you're like, oh, wow. And you're like, yep, there it is. But what that does is it rejuvenates them for the training. They come back up to Calgary and they're like, holy crap, we got to work hard. I'm like, yeah, you do. And then they want to go back in a couple of years, right? High school is a bit different. High school, you know what? In fairness, our last year's teams that played in the fall, we played colleges around Alberta, had some success against them, played some university in some controlled scrimmages, but they have to travel. They have to travel to different places. Now we love coming to BC. I mean that wholeheartedly. We love the competition in BC. And in Montreal, there's good competition in Canada. You just got to travel a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do this. If you could go back in time and change one thing and tell younger Carey, maybe take a look at this, what would that one thing be in relationship to you as a player, and then in relation to you as a runner of CBA basketball club and as a coach?
Well, as a player, I was a multi-sport player, right? And we didn't. Why is somebody coming in?
Robin, we're just wrapping up with Carey. Can I get you back on in 2 minutes? He's just answering the last question. Awesome. Thanks, Robin.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
That's my girl, Robin.
Yeah.
As a player, I should have spent more time on fundamentals. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, because I know you're going to have tens of thousands of people watching this, and now even more with the Calgary people. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I'm one of the few people in Calgary that have won back-to-back Division I city championships. I still have the jacket and the ring. And when you come over for drinks in my house, you'll be get access to that. I'll show it. Still
I'll be
fits.
allowed in the trophy room. You'll have a trophy room.
Still fits. Hey.
Yeah.
So
you were a fat kid growing up?
Yeah. Fundamentals is huge. And if I could go back as a coach, better ways to deal with parents and communicating and not not sacrificing our standards. I guess that's at the end of the day. Have some standards, whatever they are, have your foundation early. And no matter how tough it gets, anytime you have a tough decision to make, you revert back to those standards and you revert back to your base, and that will automatically help you make those decisions. Where we got a little loose with it for the first 4 or 5 years, where we're like, all of a sudden now I'm moving practices for players because they're really good players, right? I'm now having meetings with one-on-one meetings, having coffee with a parent to accommodate them. And you just can't do that.
No.
You have your standards, you offer a program, and if it's not a good fit, then it's not a good fit. Where we were very, very accommodating to a detriment to our club early in. That has changed, and I feel we've gotten stronger, and we haven't lost any players.
The real players, they show up every time anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.